Hello traders. After 10 years of being a professional trader, here's some advice I would have given myself 10 years ago. The very first thing I would have said to my former trading self is to slow the hell down. Not to be crude, but honestly, I have seen more people blow trading accounts from simply trading too much than I care to admit. And I too was guilty of over trading, and I know how quickly it can destroy your trading account, your mindset, and potentially even your financial life. The lesson that the market will always be there can be an expensive one to learn, but it doesn't need to be for you. If you heed my advice here, after 10 years of doing this thing professionally, and listen to what I'm saying to you and implement it, it will largely avoid all of the pain and suffering that goes with overtrading. The point is, the market isn't going anywhere. Now, barring the end of the world, of course, the markets will be here tomorrow and forever. Don't get your pants in a bunch, slow down, and realize if you miss a trade, it's not a big deal. If you must wait for a few months to trade live, that's not a big deal either. Whatever you do, don't be in such a rush to make money, because that will be the thing that prevents you from actually making money in the markets. As the old saying goes, all good things come to those who wait. It's not just a general saying, it's also a fact of trading. Let the market come to you, meaning let the obvious trades develop. Don't force the trade that simply isn't there. The market will show you its hand, so to speak, if you simply wait for it to do so. The last thing you want to happen is not have enough money to trade when the market finally does show its hand to you. The next thing I would have said is, dude, trade smaller position sizes. I would say to my former trading self is to respect and protect my bankroll, because it's the only thing keeping you in the game. In trading, your bankroll or your trading capital is your tool and your equipment. It's the supplies you need to make money. Just like a doctor needs his or her medical supplies and equipment, you need your bankroll. Otherwise, you're out of the game. The thing that most beginning traders underestimate, if you like, or don't understand, is capital preservation. They're too keen to make money too fast. Preserving your capital so that you can take advantage of the big moves in the market when they come along is one of the keys to the long-term trading success. Your trading capital is your lifeline, guys. Treat it like oxygen. Without it, you cannot breathe in the trading world. And so you will die if you don't preserve it. It's as simple as that. When you start trading live, you must start smaller and build up to larger amounts over time as your skill and confidence begin to improve. You will not achieve success as a trader starting out trading large position sizes. So you need to understand capital preservation and position sizing, guys. Most beginner traders know little about these topics, or they ignore them and erroneously assume that they are less important than they are, and that they will figure it out later. Huge mistake. The next thing I would tell my former self, guys, is let the trades play out and master patience, please. Don't interfere with your trades, Darren. Have patience, please, is what I would have said to my former self. I would stress the low frequency approach and to avoid the day-to-day trading. As beginner traders, it's hard to even realize, let alone accept the fact that trades take time to play out, and often that time is longer than you would have anticipated and longer than you would expect, or longer than you would like. So it's very easy to get into the game of consistently closing out perfectly good trades early before they've had a chance to move in your favor and hit your predetermined target. This is called being shaken out of the trade. You must avoid this. I highly encourage you to avoid this. You must let the market take you out, and most of the time, rather than you taking yourself out of the market prematurely. I would tell my former self that the market often moves further and stays overextended in one direction than we expect or than what we think is possible. How many times have you had the thought and said to yourself, The market can't possibly keep on going, only to see it do exactly that. This is a common beginner mistake. You cannot assume anything about the market. Let the market and the price action guide you, rather than making up stories in your head about what you think should happen. The market doesn't care what you think should happen. It's going to do what it wants regardless of you or anybody else. I cannot tell you how many times I have closed, back in the day, I have closed a trade out too soon only to see it turn around and go on to be a winner trader without me being on board. There is perhaps nothing more excruciatingly maddening than that. Almost making a lot of money, but because we weren't patient or disciplined, letting it slip through your fingers. I would tell my former self, patience and its brother, self-discipline, are your greatest ally in this game we call trading. In addition to mastering your strategy, you need to become a master of yourself, which means mastering the ability to sit on your hands, stay disciplined and patient. You must master these via whatever ways that are possible to you. This is largely something that cannot be taught. You have to dig deep and do it. The next thing I would say to my former self is, dude, just stick with one strategy. Darren, just master one strategy first and then add more strategies as you master that strategy. Build your trading arsenal one weapon at a time, but don't deviate outside of your core trading philosophy and beliefs. Often one concept or one trading pattern setup is enough to make you a fortune, but you have to be patient to wait for that to show up in the markets. You learn a concept, it makes you money. You run with it and you strike while the iron is hot, pyramiding into your positions, especially during your winning streaks. What you don't do is get overly confident and start bolting on new tricks or toys right after you find something that's working. Most traders make this mistake. Go with what works. If you try adding too many things too soon, too many strategies too soon, the cycle of doom, you will end up overtrading and become overwhelmed and frustrated. You will lack clarity, and that will just cause confusion. Remember, as I always say, keep it simple, stupid. You need to avoid temptation. Difficult to do in trading, but necessary if you want to succeed. There are logical ideas, and then there are hocus pocus ideas, guys. So don't be lured astray. Remove clutter from your decision-making process in all its forms. The news or fundamentals will rarely serve a short-term trader positively. So believe in the technical analysis, the price action of the market. The world is a simpler place than most people believe, as are the financial markets. So stick to reading the price action of the charts and anticipating trades based upon that price action, whilst always, obviously, managing your risk appropriately. Stick with a good thing. If you're lucky to find a kid, take a deep breath. Life and trading are marathons, not sprints. Finally, and I guess probably the most important thing I would have said to myself 10 years ago is something applicable to both trading and our lives in general. As we get older, we learn, we gain wisdom and insight. Indeed, this is the silver lining, probably the only silver lining to aging. The one thing I can honestly say more than anything else is that life and trading are both won by thinking of them as and treating them as a marathon, not a sprint. Good things seldom come by acting before you think. We are told as kids to think before we speak, yet it's hard for a kid to do that because kids are largely operating on impulse and feeling, with very little planning, forward thinking, or recognition of the consequences of their behavior. It's no different in trading, really. Those traders who simply act, start trading live, without a trading education, without planning, are the approximate 9% cliche of those who lose money. So there you have it, guys. These are the pearls of wisdom my older trading self would have said to my younger trading self 10 years ago. I hope you got some benefit out of this short video, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.